Hey, lovely freaks, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Amanda.
And I'm Hannah.
And if you're new here, hi, welcome. If you like things strange and unusual and true crime, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button. You can also head down to the description box and you'll see a link that'll take you to our link tree, and that'll give you access to our social media like Twitter, Instagram, and all that jazz. Yeah.
I don't know why, but my head did a little bit of a panic, maybe because I'm slightly tipsy. But my brain was like, oh my god, what's our catchphrase? I was thinking of bada bing, bada boom. And I was like, no, that's Stephanie. And then I was thinking,
I know it's my cue. What do I do?
What do I do?
We are drinking Bud Light Seltzer Sours. So
yes.
Yeah, it's been a fun one. If you haven't tried them, they're pretty good. Not sponsored, by the way. Bud Light, you want to sponsor us? No. So I'm drinking the watermelon one, and it's pretty good. I like the green apple. It's my favorite, though. The green apple's where it's at. All right. So, anywho, now that we've talked about the alcohol that we're consuming, we're going to dive into what I told you last week we were going to talk about. And if you didn't listen to last week's episode, go ahead and stop what you're doing and go listen to last week's, because, I mean, it doesn't really tie into this one, but, I mean, it kind of does, I guess. We talk about the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes. And that was fun.
Yeah. And this week, we don't have a script for this one, because, I mean, most of the time I have, like, most of the time I have, like, a
little script to
pull up. So I'll remember things, like if I'm talking about murder or something like that. But we don't have that today. So we're just going to be talking about what we think the universe is about. Should be fun.
And also
should be interesting.
Parallel universes. Good God. This is going to be rough. As well.
We may not upload this one.
Because I started thinking about that as well, and there's a couple stories that are kind of interesting. I kind of read on a little bit.
And we're also going to talk about simulation theory and all that, because Hannah, we have different views on simulation theory and the Matrix. So, yeah, stick around. All right, so starting off, wormholes. So I'll give you the definition of a wormhole. Sounds weird to say that. So a wormhole... God, y'all, this is going to be a rough one. A wormhole is a tunnel-like connection through space-time, much like the real tunnels boarded by worms in an apple. At present, space-time wormholes are only a theory, so they don't believe... There's no evidence to suggest that this is real, but I'm going to kind of talk about the possibility of it being real, I guess you could say. So also think of a wormhole. I don't know if you know this, but this is how I learned it from scientists.
Scientists?
Yeah, from scientists. So imagine taking... A wormhole can help us travel through space quicker, because it's like having one spot on one side of a piece of paper. Shit. I swear I'm intelligent. One side of a piece of paper, and then having another spot on the other side of a piece of paper, and then you fold them to connect them.
Like, wasn't there a Disney movie where they were talking about space and wormholes and all that? You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know if it's a Disney movie. But he was talking about the piece of papers coming together and then poking a hole through it with a pencil. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what that's from, but I know what you're talking about. I can't remember at all. That's annoying. So yeah, none of this has been discovered to date, but there have been people that have said that feel like they've traveled through like a wormhole here on Earth, because there's been stories of people that have... I remember one story, I don't remember where I read this, but it might have been on TikTok or something, but it was a story of these people that were driving and they ended up in this other Like, they were driving in the woods, in these backwoods areas, which is really weird. It makes me think about, like, you know, where we live. Because I feel like we could go through the woods and, like, travel.
Probably.
get in some weird shit.
That would be so weird.
Yeah, that would be weird. But, so they were driving, and they just ended up in this town that kind of felt like something else. It felt like another place. There was different like signs and stuff in different languages, and just all this other different kinds. It kind of felt like they were in another country, is what I'm trying to say. And so yeah, they drove through, and they were just driving on like a back roads. I mean, like the movie, like it would be like the movie Wrong Turn, but if they did a wrong turn and didn't die from murderous whatever those things are in the mountains that were killed. You know the movie Wrong Turn? You're looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
The movie Wrong Turn? You don't know? You've never seen that movie?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you have. Well, you watched the new one. It's where they are in the woods and they're hiking, and it just never mind.
They take a wrong turn.
Yeah. But the original one is where they're driving, and basically it's like these cannibalistic people attack
I want to know
them.
what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, but there's a new version of it that you've seen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about. That sounds like The Hills Have Eyes. Kind of.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna kill people's ears with this. I was trying to get the top off my beer can, guys. Sorry. Okay. So, anyways, yeah. So basically, like that, they took a wrong turn, and then they ended up in another country. But then they came. I think they turned around and they came back, and they ended up back where they were. It's weird.
Wow.
I've also seen a bunch of different ones kind of like that. I know we've talked about some of them. There was a guy that, what was that? There was a guy that said he was in a house and he thought he ended up in a, but that's more like a parallel universe. He ended up in like a parallel universe.
So this guy, I don't know much details. It was at a high school, and they had, I think they were playing what's that where you have a racket?
Racquetball?
Racquetball. They were playing racquetball, and they went into this kind of abandoned building, and it was him, his other friend, and another guy. I can't remember what his friend name was.
It doesn't matter.
I think it was a Reddit post, so I'm just going to call him Nate. We'll just call him Nate. This guy and Nate and another guy were like playing racquetball, and he hit the ball, and he just bought like this ball and this racket and everything, and it was very expensive, and he hit it, and the ball went into this kind of like dark room kind of, and they thought it was just a room, and so they were just like, oh well, let's go get it. And him and another guy were like, oh, we're gonna go get a ball. And Nate was like, I'm just gonna stay here and I'm gonna go take the rackets back. And so he was like, okay, cool. So they started walking into this dark room, and they thought it was a dark room, but it was like at the end they could see a door, and it was like
It just kept getting further away.
Yeah, it kept getting further and further away the more they walked. So they were just like, okay, screw the ball. And then they started getting scared, and so they started running to the door. And when they walked through the door, they ended up on the all the way to the other end of the building, and this building is like huge.
The other end of like the school. It was a school, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it ended up at the school, and they were like, okay, how did we get here? So they like came back, and they were like, hey, have y'all seen Nate? He was supposed to return the racquetballs. And they were like, Nate? Who's Nate? I've never heard of a guy named Nate.
Like none of the teachers had ever heard of him.
They even asked like the teachers, and
his name
like,
wasn't really Nate. We just can't remember.
I can't remember what it was. His name was
basically their friend never existed, is what they were saying, and it was weird. Like, how did we end up here? What is this? So that brings us to alternate universes. A parallel universe, also known as a alternate dimension or a parallel dimension, or alternate reality, is a hypothetical self-contained plane of existence coexisting with one's own self. So basically that, like the multiverse, and we all know what that is, thanks to Marvel. Basically saying that, and I saw this the other day somewhere, somebody was talking about it, where what if we're all just what if we're all just, it's just like nobody else exists and it's just our world that keeps just going over and over again? Like we all have our each individual worlds. You see what I'm saying?
Like we're stuck in a time loop? Is that what you're saying?
No, like we're like, let me try to explain this. Like our world is just happening here, but somewhere else there's another version of us that's happening somewhere else.
Oh yeah,
so
like
on and so forth
because
and
of
so
the
on.
butterfly effect. Like every decision you make makes a new universe.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we decided to drink tonight. We could have not decided to drink tonight. How would that universe be like?
And so I don't really think the multiverse, like I believe that there's other universes and maybe we can travel to them through like portals and things like that. We've talked about portals on this show when we talked about Skinwalker Ranch. If you haven't listened to that episode, you should, because it's crazy as crap. But at Skinwalker Ranch, just to give you a brief summary, basically it's a haunted place. It's real. It's in...
Don't look at me. I don't know. Tennessee?
No, not Tennessee. Utah. It's in Utah. It hit me. So... yeah, basically, there's a whole bunch of different stuff to it. I can't go into all of it. But one of the things at the Skinwalker Ranch is that these people were investigating the ranch and investigating the paranormal activity and things like that around there, and investigating to see if there were skinwalkers. If you don't know what those are, that we've went over that plenty of times on this channel. But they saw basically portals. Some people would see these floating objects in the sky, and then when they would look through them with binoculars, there would be like a sky on the other side, blue sky, and it was like nighttime where they were. There was one time where these investigators, and it was two of them, they were investigating, and a creature came out of one of the orbs that was floating around. It got really big, and then a creature was like walking out. Kind of reminded me of like Stranger Things. So yeah, that happened. And I fully believe them because it was more than one person that was describing this, you know. So I do think that there are probably ways, and you know, we've talked about it on The Conjuring. The mom in The Conjuring, or the parents, she said that she remembers coming down to the kitchen, and she saw these people. It was almost like she was looking at like a window or something, but in her kitchen there were people from like the 1800s that were, remember? Mm-hmm. That were like sitting there, and it could have been, I mean, obviously it could have been ghosts, but
it could have been like a shadow.
She felt like it was a portal. And a lot of people have said, or you know, that they feel like sometimes they feel like they can see different portals and things like that.
What if ghosts aren't real and it's just parallel universes from the past?
Could be that. Time travel. So anyways, but yeah, I mean, it would be cool though if, you know, the whole wormhole thing. I mean, essentially that would be a way that we could travel through space quickly. And you guys probably already know, like, the telescope, the James Webb Space Telescope, is the one that they've either launched or they're launching. I can't remember. I think it's supposed to be launched, or it did launch in December. That's when it was. So essentially, they said that, you know, it can see so far back. It will look back like, I think, 13 billion years, and it'll see the Big Bang, the first galaxies. So that's crazy to me. I think a couple of weeks ago, I read something that said that they would be able to see, like, or they have seen the edge of the galaxy.
Wow.
Which is insane. There's also a star that they just recently saw.
So
I can't think of what they named the star, but they saw this star, and there's like tiny little bitty circles all around, like billions of them, and those are other galaxies.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So there's so much in the universe, and it's crazy that people think that we're the only things in this vast universe. What were you going to say?
I was going to ask if like they saw the edge of the universe. What did they saw? But
of
you
our
answered
galaxy,
it.
yeah. Of the Milky Way.
I was about to say what was up, like more than that. What was? But
well,
you
they
didn't
don't
answer
know. They don't know. But yeah, I mean, also, black holes are a thing. We just don't know where they go to. What if that's a wormhole?
Have they ever tried to go through one?
I don't know. I'm not going to answer that. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I know that time is different when you go through a black hole. Lord.
Black hole.
Black hole. When you go through a black hole, time is different and it's slower.
Yeah.
I know that from Doctor Who.
Movies?
No, Doctor Who.
Then it must be real. Okay, you're going to talk about simulation theory because I don't really...
Okay, so pretty much
everybody knows... Hold on. Everybody pretty much knows about the Matrix and all that. I mean, you've been living under a rock if you don't. So that's essentially what the simulation theory is. I mean...
Yeah. But it's kind of like if you've seen things like repeat. Like, let's say... Like, this is crazy. So, like, one time I went downstairs at college and I saw this person that I've seen like every single day. And I saw this person and they were downstairs. When I was walking upstairs, they were upstairs.
Yeah.
And I was like, so like, I was asking around, like, are they twins? Like,
they weren't twins. Like, they didn't have a twin.
They didn't have a twin. So I was like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
So some of the time you see like similar things. Like you saw a cat or two black cats.
Yeah.
Like the Matrix.
Well, and like on, I have seen people on TikTok post those things where, what is it, where they are driving and then they're going around a circle or something? They're going around a curve. What am I trying to think of? They're going around a curve and they see, it looks like they're just going to fall off the edge or whatever. Like there's like a wall there. But then it turns out that there's not.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? You don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind, whatever. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I do know what you're talking about, the cats and things like that.
Like a repeating of stuff, or sometimes you'll see things that like don't make sense.
Number, what is it?
27.
27 a lot.
But also with that too. Well, also, you'll see like things that don't make sense, like planes like not flying or just staying still, or things that are like kind of
the birds.
Yeah, birds not flying, or just things won't seem right.
I've never seen anything like that, but I've seen it on different, videos and things like that, and I just wish I could see something like that with my own eyes, because it's kind of like aliens. I probably wouldn't have believed in UFOs if I didn't see one with my own eyes, because it's so easy to manipulate stuff like that, nowadays, especially with all the technology and different video manipulations and stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
They'll also be like what she said about different numbers, like no numbers showing up. I see the number 27 everywhere I look. Like it's in my social security, it's in my
I see 1111 a lot.
The tag on the back of my number, just everywhere.
The
like
tag
if
on the back of your
my
ID?
Nope, my car.
Oh, your car.
And also every time I check my phone, it's like 27. I can check what time it is. But they say that when you see numbers like that, it's like somebody's trying to wake you up outside the simulation and be like, hey, wake up, like this is fake and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just a lot of things click.
The Deja Vu thing throws me because I don't understand what that is, and nobody really does understand what Deja Vu, like even scientists don't know. And I get Deja Vu a lot. Like I feel like I've done this before.
Yeah.
But some people think that could be like a reincarnation type thing. Because, there are people that believe in reincarnation as a religion,
Or what if we're just, like, reoccurring our day every day? Like, doing the same day every day, and we don't know it.
Yeah.
We've been doing this podcast every day.
Well, no, I think we would remember that because Well, like I told Hannah before, like, we've talked about this before, and I told her, like, I don't get the simulation theory because I don't get the fact that we, like, birth and things like that, birth and death, like, when somebody dies, if we all are living in a simulation, then where do they go? Like, what is that? I've heard some people say, well, that's, like, game over, like, the player's done playing the game, and I'm just like, really? I mean, I don't know.
Well, the person could just die in the game, and I mean, we get buried. So our body or our avatar just stays in the ground, but maybe we get unplugged and thrown away and, like, outside of the universe, like in real life.
Yeah.
I'm always scared. Like, I've always had this nightmare of, like, what if I'm just, like, in another universe where, like, everything's gritty and awful and, like, cold and wet, and there's, like, war going on, but all we have is, like, dissimulation, and I'm just naked sitting in a chair telling myself I've wiped my brain of my real life so I won't have to live in that. Like, that's always, like, a nightmare. I'm like, wow, that would be creepy.
I don't think that. Well, I mean, obviously, all these are just theories that we've thought of, but I just can't wrap my brain around the simulation theory. I guess because it just makes me feel depressed if I thought that. Like, what's the point in anything then? You know what I mean? Like, why does any of it matter? But...
And then also it would explain the out-of-body experience. Like, do you ever just, like, kind of stare at something and then you feel like you're not in your body anymore?
Mm-mm.
Or
you, like, zone out?
Yeah, like, zone out.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I've done
you kind
that.
of feel like you're, like, watching TV. Or some days you'll just be, well, I'm surprised because you have ADHD. Most, like, ADHD people feel like an out-of-body experience. And that would kind of explain that, too.
I mean, I've zoned out, yeah. But I don't know. I've never felt like... I have an ADHD. I've just zoned out. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by... Like, do I feel like I'm not sitting there watching TV?
Yeah.
I mean... I don't know. We were playing this game, and I can't remember what it is, but I will say we did learn this game off of Shane Dawson's new video. You should go watch it if you haven't, because it's great. But it was this game at the end of his conspiracy theory video, and he was talking about simulation theory and stuff like that, which is weird because we're talking about it this week.
Yeah.
And we were already going to talk about it before he uploads, so it's weird. But anyways, the game is basically where people write down these numbers, 6 numbers, I believe it is, and then they pick a picture offline or whatever, and you have to basically, it's like channeling your inner psychic, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of like scribble on a piece of paper and then write down any words that come to you that may describe the picture that the person picked. So we all did it. I did it. Hannah did it. My kids did it. Isaac didn't really get any. Me and you did.
Yeah.
And then Adeline, my youngest, she wanted to try after you left.
Really?
Yeah, she wanted to try. She didn't get any. Bless her heart. She tried it twice. But she couldn't grasp the concept. She was like... And this is totally off topic, but it makes me think about ADHD. She was like, I don't know how to just sit here and scribble things and not think about something. She was like, I'm just thinking. I said, in the back of your mind, you don't ever have a voice in the back of your head? And she's like, no. I was like, girl, all day, every day. I was like, really? I said, right now while I'm having a conversation with you, there's something else going on back here. I can pick it out, and there's another conversation going on. And she was like, no, that's weird. I was like, oh, well, the ADHD game is strong.
Probably. If I had to guess. She is like that. She is like that.
No, me.
Oh.
Not her. I'm saying, like, with ADHD, that's what people with ADHD...
Yeah.
There's 2 million things going on in my brain all at once. So, yeah. But anyways. I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, and that's another thing that can kind of leads me to believe, like some people believe, like the simulation theory is because you do have other things going on in the back of your head.
Like a voice
Yeah.
sometimes. And they say, like, what if it's not your conscious? What if it's just a little person sitting there and
Yeah.
telling you what to do?
Yeah. Well, I don't believe that because, like, I think we would see something in people's brains when they opened them up, like, to do autopsies.
I mean, there's
and
two
stuff.
things. Like, you know that feeling you get when you know something bad is about to happen and something bad happens?
Mm-hmm.
Or you feel like, I feel like I'm going to run into somebody when I go into Walmart. I'm going to run into somebody, and you run into somebody. Some people, I mean, that could be just somebody's, like, so in tune.
In tune. Their intuition, yeah.
Yeah, intuition.
Yeah.
It could be, like, you've just done this over and over again that you already know, like...
But the
that's
one
going
thing
to
about the
happen.
simulation theory that also didn't understand is, like, going back to death. Like, when we do autopsies and things like that, like, why would we... I don't know. Like, it's just...
The brain
that'd
would
be
be
an
dead, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be an intense game of, like, Sims, because we're, you know, giving birth, and we have blood, and we have, like... Because even in the game of Sims, like, people have been like, well, it's just like we're in Sims. But even in that game, they don't actually, like, bleed and stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I think they do give birth, maybe.
Yes.
But you don't,
But
like,
you don't
see
see
it
it, yeah.
rather than, you know. So it's just weird.
Even when they do whoopee, they just go into the covers and that's it.
Oh, yeah. I've never played Sims, so I don't even know. But, yeah, I thought that was really interesting about the telescope thing, though. Going back to that. Because I saw it on here. But, yeah. Is there anything else you can think of with the simulation theory?
Not really.
No. Thinking about the whole parallel universe thing, going back to that, like, I don't necessarily believe, like I said, in the multiverse. I don't think there's like 50 million versions of me, because that just kind of makes that the whole multiverse thing kind of makes me feel like we're really conceited people, because we think that there's like 50 billion different versions of us just on all these other galaxies, and I'm
That's
just like,
true.
why would that be the same thing? Like, why would God be like, you know what? I made these people so good, I'm going to recreate them billions of more times. Like, I just don't think that. But we've always said on this podcast, first of all, I mean, we're Christians, and I straight up believe that God did not make, you know, any other beings, you know, didn't just make us. He made other beings on other planets. So I do believe that. And that would be super cool if we could, because, you know, what's it called? Not time travel, but crap. The thing that I want, teleportation and a wormhole are like two different things, because some people think that they're the same thing, but they're not. Teleportation is just like, I'm here and I just teleport to here.
Yeah.
But a wormhole is you're actually traveling. It'd be like if on the other side of that wall, like my room's here, and on the other side of the wall there was like another universe that I could just go to. Or another place in time. It doesn't necessarily have to be a universe. But I haven't heard anything. I don't know if you have anything of any articles or anything about time travel. Have you read anything lately or seen anything like that?
I do remember the Men in Black, where, like, some people have said that they will, like, clean up time travel, kind of like. So these guys with black top hats and a suit, and maybe not top hats. I think they're bald. I don't know. And sunglasses. They'll come around and sometimes...
They call them the Men in Black?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
One time, this person... It was this man and this woman, and they were in their house, and their electricity went off. And right at that moment, they got a knock on the door, and these Men in Black came through the door. They were like, hey, we need to, like, come and check your house and everything. And they said they were CIS, and they weren't. They were just like, okay. First of all, these people just let them in. Didn't no ID or anything. They were just like, okay, yeah, sure.
Sure,
so
you
they
look
come
official.
in. Yeah. And they said that they eerily looked so similar. And also they were like, almost didn't look human.
Yeah.
Like they were just barely had skin on their body. I mean, not skin. Barely had hair on their body. And they were just like, kind of when they would talk to them, they were very robotic. Just like, how are you? We are good.
Yeah.
Just words that didn't make sense.
Mm.
So they checked their entire house, and they were like, and they overheard one of the guys going, "It's not here." And then they were like,
that was it.
And that was it. And
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
But the thing is like, other people have said that they've seen these type of people.
Yeah, I think I just vaguely remember that somewhere. It
could just be like weird government guys. What if it's just like two guys? Or like,
what if
oh,
it's aliens looking for like
Or
pods?
could be aliens
deposited back in the day.
Could be. But
I
some people
unlocked it.
Yeah, some people think it's like
that mouth pop was good. Go ahead.
Like these guys trying to like erase like people coming from the future, because you know you've seen those
Men in Black.
Yeah,
basically.
You've seen like those pictures of like, oh, Jack Black. Have you ever seen that picture of like this futuristic guy in like the history books, and he looks exactly like Jack Black?
Oh yeah, and there's also been different pictures of like people in history books. They'll see a history book, and then they'll see somebody in like the distance of like this carnival or something that looks like they should be in like the 1980s or something like,
or like something. A picture from the 50s, and somebody is like on the phone. Yeah,
somebody's on the phone, and you're sitting there like, oh, okay, well, that's really weird, you know. But what was I going to talk? So there's also a thing that oh God, what is it? It's the green children of somewhere. Have you ever heard of this story? So this was a long time ago. This was back in like 1800s, 17, 16, something in there. So there were these children that appeared in this town, and it was in England, I believe. Mm-hmm. And they appeared in this town. They just walked up from basically the woods, and they were green, like straight up green.
Wow.
There's even pictures, but well, they're not pictures. They're paintings or drawings or something like that. And these kids, they're green. When they showed up, it was a boy and a girl. They didn't talk. They didn't speak any kind of language that anybody knew. They also didn't eat any of their food. They wouldn't eat anything except for, there was only one item they would eat, and I can't remember what it was. Candy bread? I don't know.
Candy bread. Candy?
One of the two. Bread? It was something weird. So, anywho, they would only eat that, and they couldn't speak English. And then there was something else. I don't remember. So eventually what happened was as they stayed in the town and they started picking up language and learning how to talk, they eventually were able to tell the townspeople, and this is like a true story. This is like a real thing. But I mean, it could have been made up. You don't know. But it's not what I'm trying to say is it's not like an urban legend or anything like that. So they eventually told the townspeople that they were walking through the field back at their home, wherever they were from. They were walking through a field, and they kept hearing a voice tell them to come this way or something like that. And so they followed it, and eventually they ended up in the woods by this village. And they couldn't figure out how to get back. So that was basically what happened. Over time, though, their skin, they started eating our food, or whatever you want to call it, and so their skin ended up not being green anymore.
Wasn't it, she said her brother and her were from a place where the sun didn't shine?
You looked it up. The village of Woolpit. Yeah. Yeah, they were from some place where the sun didn't shine.
And it was twilight all the time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so this is, the 12th century. Back in the 12th century. So yeah, a long time ago. And so, yeah, the sun didn't shine or anything like that. They heard, that was what it was. They heard loud noises. They were out with their dad, like doing the cattle and stuff, and they heard loud noises. Weird. And I believe they heard somebody saying something, come over here or something like that. And and so eventually their skin turned a regular color. A lot of people were saying, like, later on, you know, how doctors are. They were like, well, they could have had too much of this or this in their skin, and they can look green. I mean, they could have, but they would have had to have eaten like a lot of something.
I think it's
or have a deficiency.
If you eat too many carrots.
Carrots is orange.
No, yeah,
you turn
that's orange.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
You do definitely turn orange, for sure. I've seen tons of videos of people saying stuff like, I had like a whole bag of carrots and I was orange, or had like carrots, you know, it depends on how many you eat, but yeah.
That is crazy.
I've never eaten that many carrots in my life, though, so it's good. I'll never turn orange. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else. This was fun. Little drinky drink.
Yeah.
Talking
about the
universe.
And 30 minutes. Look at us.
I know, we did a good job with no script. Look at that.
Some of the words are scrambled, but that's fine.
It's okay. I know I was completely off my game today. So anyways, yeah. If you guys have anything to chime in about anything that we've talked about, wormholes, simulation theory, alternate universes, or just the fact that we are not the only beings on this earth. And if you heard me talk about us seeing a UFO and you have no idea what we're talking about, there's an episode way down there. You're going to have to scroll a ways because we're on episode like 71.
Really?
Yeah.
We should do something for our 100th.
Yeah, we're going to have to. So way down there, we talk about our experience with a UFO, and our family's experiences.
Oh yeah,
I guess you would say, because we've had a lot of family members. They just love us for some reason.
We're special.
Yeah, we're special down here in the South. No, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I bet you think you are. But anyways, so yeah, if you have anything to chime in and you want to hear that episode, you can go down and scroll down and you can find it. Also, we will be back next week with murder.
Yes.
Not quite sure. Well, maybe not. I don't know. We're gonna do a poll. We'll have it up on Twitter. Maybe we'll do murder. Maybe we'll do. We've talked about a lot of universe, and
we could do ghosts, but there's not a lot of ghost stories in the world.
Just not. There's not, and there's not a lot of. Well, there is a lot of ghosts. There's not a lot of. What's the word I'm looking for?
Paranormal activity.
No.
Stories?
Possessions and things like that. Yeah, because we do some of those. But I don't know. We'll put a poll up on Twitter, and you guys can go there and you can do the poll and let us know what you want to hear about. Talk about. Just give us something. Give us something to talk about. Sorry. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.